Well, hello everyone. My name is Kevar, and as you can see, this is something new, something else. Today I'm not playing Gloomhaven. Also, this is my first attempt to live stream, so let me take a minute to find out if everything works correctly. I don't have a second screen, so I'm using my mobile phone to follow the live chat, and I'll turn the voice on the mobile in a minute to see if I can hear myself. The voice on the mobile in a minute. Okay, it seems it's working. Quick check on the live chat. Okay, it seems that everything is working alright, so welcome again. As you can see, I'm playing Guild Wars 2, and I am by no means any pro player in this game. I have a few characters, but I haven't played in a while, so I decided I'll create a new one. Since I don't have any viewers right now, I'll decide for myself. Actually, I've already decided who I want to play with. I have both the expansions, and they give some options with prestige classes. I'll call them prestige classes, correct me if you will. But I'm really pumped about the druids. Druids were always my favorite thing to play with, and also there are 5 races to choose from. I have some bias towards some of them, so I don't really like Char just because. I prefer Norn, Sylvari, maybe Human, then Asura. But I'll play with Sylvari, and since I've already have a male character, I'll create female. And I will play the ranger. As you can see, there is no druid over here, but each of those class, once they reach level 80, they could choose to specialize in some of spin-off class, and the ranger lets me to specialize in druidcraft. And I don't want her to be too short. Actually, I really like the tall characters. I really like tall female. As for her physique, let me turn off her armor for a while to choose. I'll skip the comment on my preference of body type, just to avoid some drama, unnecessary body shaming or something like this. I think I'll go with either this or I'll go with this. And so we could turn the armor back on, and I would like to make her autumn, fall character, so no the greenish but more orange, brown, fallen leaves colors. So there are few to choose from. Maybe sunrise. Sunrise seems nice as a base color. And now we get to choose the skin pattern. So one of the cool things about Sylvari is they are glowing in the dark. So let me turn the armor off. And as you can see, there are some glowing patterns over here. They are getting brighter and dimmer. So I like her veins to glow in some reddish colors, and let me turn the light on. So we've got to choose also the body pattern. I'll choose one color to see very well what we are choosing from, and I'll keep something. I'll choose something in a minute. So this one is very visible, so it might be something I'm looking for. Maybe the veins. So for now on I'll choose the reddish color as the fallen leaves. So it's either this or maybe that. I'll go with this pattern. So now for the head options. So we've got to choose her hair. First of all, let's change the color to more fallen leaves like, maybe brownish, as the leaves they are laying on the ground for quite some time. Yeah, let's go with the brownish. And for the hairstyle, I'd like something with lots of leaves, so we can see this theme of fall. We can be the mushroom people as well, but I like this one. Maybe this one is quite fancy. I haven't seen this in the game much. This is very neat, very it has some charm, but I think I'll go with this one. But maybe we will change the colors to something brighter, to greenish for my taste. Maybe scarlet red, or yeah, let's go with this. We can change her face, so this is more human-like. This is quite exotic. I like it. This is more alien. I don't know if I want to go with this. This looks silly. I don't really like them. So it's either this or that. I'll go with a little bit more exotic, and if I change the skin color over here, it will affect the whole skin, and since we've already chosen the skin color, I'll keep it like this. And now we got to choose her ears. This haircut isn't really showing much, but there are some options to pick from, and I guess I will go with this one. So this one over here looks like this, like some, I don't know, little tree branches or something, but I think so I'll choose some eye color for her. So her eyes are glowing in the dark as well, so I think it's cool. We could keep it with our fall autumn theme, and actually as I clicked on this amber color, I really like it like this, so let's keep it like this. I won't mess with those since I really like her eyes like this. For her nose, we could make it smaller, bigger, but I think she's perfect as she is. So we could paint our armor, and I think I'll change them a little. I like this greenish stuff over here, but maybe a little more brownish, orangey. So let me see. So she's a ranger. She should be invisible, but I really like this set of colors. Those seems to be the metal details, so maybe keep them. I'll keep them like this. For the lower part of her costume, I'll keep them a little bit darker. So for example, this might be the main color. What is this? I'm not sure what the function of this part is, so let's keep it like that. And here we get to choose some details. I don't like this orange so let's keep some brownish colors here. And for boots, since she's so tall, I can't really see them, but I do this like that. Yeah, I guess later in game we will get different sets of armors, and sometimes the color pattern will change with them, so this is good enough for me. So now we've got to choose some things about her background. So first of all, we can choose pet animal, and I really don't like those options. I'm not keen towards the giant chicken. The doggy seems very I don't know how to call it, mainstream cool, let's have a wolf or something like this, and cat is a cat. So I think the stalker, so the cat works the best with this theme of the fall. The color of kitty cat is brownish, so it fits. And while playing ranger, I really like this mini side quest of finding other animals around the world, so you could tame them and get them to the collections like Pokemons or something. So trouble may follow me, but I may use my charm, dignity or ferocity to overcome it. So as I will go with this fall theme, the charm seems like more spring, maybe summertime thing. Ferocity is, I would say, summertime character. Dignity seems to be the winter, so actually nothing seems to fit for me. I like to think about the fall as something nostalgic, something depressing. So ferocity has too high energy level for me. So it's either dignity or charm. Let's go with the charm. I dream of a quest that calls me to action. It was a vision of the white stag, green knight, or shield of the moon. So I think I'll go with the white stag. It's the most druidish thing. The second option would be the shield of the moon. So the white stag is a creature of enchantment, an immortal beast with great power. It is said that the stag will trade a magical boon for its freedom if I can catch it. I believe that the most important of Ventari's teaching is act with wisdom but act. All things have right to grow, or where life goes, so should you. So once again, this seems more like springtime thing, where life goes, so should you. So this is something I think fits the best our theme. And the pale tree awakened me during the cycle of dawn, cycle of noon, cycle of dusk, or cycle of night. So the dusk is my first association with the autumn. So let's read the description. Sylvari awakened at dusk are naturally curious and thoughtful. We love to learn and spend time reading and studying. We are intelligent and drawn towards luscious complexities of magic. Okay, so something druidish. And here we've got a little bit of summary, and let's go with my name of Gevra of the Fall. So yeah, and let's listen to the little introduction here. Let's go.
I am Sylvari. 25 years ago, my people first appeared in Tyria. The pale tree flowered, and the firstborn awakened. The dream contains my race's memories. We gain awareness here, and then awaken into the world. The dream fills me with knowledge, and is my connection to others. It is my inspiration, and guiding light. While here, I have discovered my purpose, to face evil and destroy it. Even now, I sense my destiny calling me to awaken. My time is soon. Nature and goodness are under siege. All life hangs in the balance. If Tyria is to survive, it will need us. If we fail, the dream will be consumed by nightmare. And Tyria will wither and die. I dream of voyages. The voices of my people whisper to me of far-off places and mysterious shores. A white stag races before me, brave and wild. It offers me the gift of freedom. The dream hints at my future. throughout distant lands and dangerous challenges, but also I see my home. The grove with a white tree and friends who will stand by me when I am gone. My honor dictates that I help those who are lost and alone. I am their protector. I hear my name in the wind, and I feel the call of my future. And yet, I sense darkness approaching. Something intrudes upon the dream. It blocks the path to my awakening. Before I can enter the world, I must first face this evil and vanquish it. I'm summoned by the dream. This is my story.
So, before we continue, let me adjust some things real quick. Let me see if I can change the name of the live stream or something like that. And while doing so, let's go for my live stream. So I'm by no means good Guild Wars 2 player. I've played for quite some time. I have one character that reached level 80, and I get to the Living World story, so the late game story, but really I haven't experienced any real multiplayer stuff. So for example, I haven't played some dungeon raids or Shard of the Mists or something like this. I really play Guild Wars as a single player experience. I personally am against, or not really against, I don't enjoy using the builds or something like this. I like to figure stuff out by myself. But for that single player experience, I think I know a few things, so I try to get some people through them as I will be playing. The idea of my gameplay style is to go through the main story and try to complete the map as we go, and actually basically organically experience all the stuff that is happening around. So I don't see an option to rename my live stream right now, so let's go back to the game and continue. So we are in the very tutorial. It shows me how to play. I've got my controls set already. So our base weapon is, I believe, short bow right now. But I have a basic idea what kind of set I want to specialize later on. So in the Guild Wars, your weapon is defining your playstyle. So every class has set of weapons they can choose from, and depends on them there are different abilities, different attacks. For now we've got only our basic attack unlocked with long range shot. What it does is basically the more powerful, the further away we are from the enemy. So, and also we've got this healing ability, which is also buff here is our cat, which fights by our side, and while I've been using this healing, there is a little buff on our starter. So.
Dreamer, I am Keith. I need your help. Can you hear me where you are within the dream? Within the dream? What does that mean? Why do you look transparent? I am Interior, a land far away. Soon you'll awaken, but for now you live in the dream. I can't explain right now. We must hurry. Something is poisoning the dream. Poisoning the dream? Of course, I will do whatever I can to help you. But why me? Your spirit is strong. Do not underestimate yourself. Head to the fallen vagrant, and I'll meet you there.
So I've got mixed feelings about the storyline of the game. This is nothing too ambitious, but it's not the worst in the world. So I do enjoy it, but I'm not really very immersed in it. Sometimes it's too naive to my taste. So as this game is MMO, so massive multiplayer online game, there are lots and lots of things happening on the main screen. There are lots of quests, objectives, rewards. So there is a little reward for daily login, there are some daily quests, etc. I won't be bothering with daily quests for now. Now the main goal is to level up a little bit to unlock full potential of our character and find a weapon of my choice. I think I will decide for the great sword, and the other set would be the horn as an offhand weapon, and either axe or sword for my main hand. The only reason I am choosing this set is because the rule of cool. I like the animal stuff, and the horn lets me summon, for example, Hawk, which will attack my enemies, and the great sword lets me do some attacks with some spirit animals like bears or eagles, etc. So here is a big bad guy. I think this is really cool dragon. And we've got to hurt him. So I'll try to keep away from him. I'm not sure why my attack keeps retargeting, but fortunately there are a lot of different players, so the players are the people with these names in bluish greenish color. And even it is a tutorial, we already have some people around. I wasn't careful enough, but actually this is quite easy fight.
sapling. You just woke. You were calling out in your dream. Kate was just here, but she had to go speak to the Pale Tree.
She and I fought side by side against a poison in the dream. I saw the shadow of a terrible dragon, and I felt the dream call upon me to defeat it.
By the tree. A wild hunt so soon, and such a momentous task. To be a valiant of the wild hunt is a difficult charge. Bear this calling with pride.
I will. But how do I begin when it's not simply awaken and rush off to face a dragon?
You start here in our forest. There were others hurt in the dream. They could use your help. Besides, it'll be fine training for a new valiant.
So here's a little reward. We've got a slightly better bow, we've got lots of experience points. There are some tips, but since I will talk through them anyway, I'll skip most of them. So we have leveled up, so here is a notification for that. And since I don't have very large screen and my vision isn't great, I have a little enlarged UI, so hope you don't mind it, but I can't play any other way. So for each level we've got some buffs, and for the few first levels, actually a little more than a few, we will unlock different things and the game will teach us about them, but I won't be reading, and also they are telling me what will come next. So for now we've unlocked our secondary attack, so this is the series of arrows. One of the main mechanisms in the game are conditions and boons, so bonuses. So everything with this yellow background with arrow-like shape pointing up is buff, and they give some bonuses. Here you can see a nice overview of most of them, and they can stack. I believe there are a limit of 20 or something of the same type, but much later in the game, while you are trying to create some build, this is one thing to consider. There are lots of synergies in between buffs, and also there are some conditions, so debuffs. So for example, this vulnerability will increase damage the enemy will receive, and they are stacking as well. There are some other things like damage, there are something like combo finishers, but I really never really learned how to use the combo. This is, I believe, more of multiplayer synergy in between the character stuff. So yeah, that's it. Let me go to the character screen, since we've got a new equipment. Here is our main character screen. There are some equipment stuff we don't already have, but now we've got this wooden longbow. I wouldn't get used to it at the beginning of the game. It's quite easy to find something better in a matter of minutes, but basically this longbow has better damage, so I'll keep it. And there are quite some panels over here. I will walk through them once I use them. And actually, by playing with different characters, I unlocked some things. And let me see. I have some unlocked glider skins, so let me see if I can, yeah, choose them. So we've got this very cool, I believe this is new one for new living story chapter, but I love that one. This is some angelic like wings, and what the thing I want to do is to use some dice and make it more reddish or something orangey, maybe even more vivid. So as you can see, I've got some paints over here. The paints are things that are get unlocked as you play, and so there are some more rare colors. If you want, you could spend real life currency to buy some color, but I won't be going as deep as that. But we've got a little bit more paints to choose from than at the beginning of the game. So for example, we've got some goldish colors, and I'd love to go with them for our metallic elements. Let me see if I can find anything. Harvest gold. Actually, I like it as yeah, let's keep it like this. There are lots and lots of other customization options, but for now on, let's focus on the gameplay. So now I'll skip through this tutorial since I will be explaining them also as we are playing. So basically what she was saying to us, there are little hearts around the map. They have suggested level to go to, and those are the people who needs our help, and we could help them in various different ways. So you could always go to such person and ask them what they really want you to do. Also in the upper right you've got the list of possible things to do. So for example, we could kick the trees, so there are some fruits for these Moa creatures. There are also some larvae in the ground. We could dig them up and kill them because they are pests. And every time we do something good, this little bar is filling up, the heart is filling up, and once we fill the whole bar, there is a little reward and also the completion of the map. There is also a little square around here. Those are places, point of interest. Some interesting places to go to. They don't have anything special about them, except they count towards map completion. So I believe, yeah. So this is our current map. There are some places I need to go, some achievements I need to get for this current region to complete, and once I do so I get a little bit reward. Also there is a world completion. This is all the regions around the world up to 80 level, so here is the whole world. There are lots of places I haven't discovered yet. They've got also their recommended level of the character. If you go to the region with higher than yours level, you are scaled up, so you could try to go there, but without proper equipment and some skills unlocked, it would be challenging anyway. So it's better to stay in your region unless you want some challenge, some harder gameplay. I like to play Guild Wars as a relaxing game that isn't said that I will avoid all the challenge. So as you can see, there is a gold heart around here. What it does, once I click it, we will get some coins, we will get some karma, so those are different currencies in the game. Also what happens, there is the person we spoken to now got this option with the karma symbol, and we could buy some stuff from her. I tend to buy every trinket, every little stuff they have, because there are a lot of achievements in the game, and some of them requires you to collect every single thing around the world. So we've got this Warden Light emblem. It gives us +3 vitality, but I won't be going in depth with the stats. There are lots of better tutorials around the internet. We can also sell some stuff to her. So here is very useful button. It's called sell junk. There are some things like this glob of globy goo which have no use whatsoever in the game. This is junk. This is the only purpose for this is to sell it. So if we click this thing, we will sell every single piece of junk we've got currently in our inventory. Here is also our longbow. We could sell it as well. But if we look inside our inventory, there are actually some other stuff that won't appear in the vendor. So there are lots of things with this little tag at the end of the description: account bound or soul bound. Once you get them, you cannot get rid of them. So this is bag of crafting materials. If I double click it, I'll get some materials, and as you can see, I can sell them. But the thing I like to do, which will come handy later in the game, is in our inventory menu, clicking this little options button and click deposit all materials. So everything that is for crafting and we have space in our bank account will go there and won't clutter our inventory. There is also buyback button, so if you have sold something you want back, you can do so. We have also get another level, so now they are teaching us about our inventory, and very useful thing, a bag. You could add them over here to increase your inventory size. You could use this option to show each bag separately. I don't need this right now. This is useful if you want to carry some stuff of some types and keep them in order. during the game you could craft or buy or find other bags with more slots with some special properties. For example, the bag which makes all the items over there invisible in the vendor, so you wouldn't accidentally sell them, etc. So the next thing to do, here is a little compass. It shows us the nearest interesting thing, the nearest stuff we could do, and the game recommends us. It's very useful, but actually what I'm going to do is, here is some point of interest, I will go visit it. So I've got other stuff unlocked which you wouldn't have at the beginning of the game. So for example, I've got this mount, so it's useful to move around a little bit quicker, and from time to time I will use it. So now we are going over there, since this is the another karma vendor, another person who needs our help, and it's recommended level 3, and we are currently on the 3rd level. So one thing to notice, as you can see, there are some creatures wandering around. There are basically 4 kinds of creatures around. So if the name appears in white, this is harmless being, but if you want, you could kill them. And the yellowish are things, if you will move around them, they'll just ignore you, but by attacking them they are becoming aggressive, and as you can see, their name is turning red, and the red are aggressive enemies. There are also green NPCs. You cannot attack them, you cannot harm them. Also there are other players, or things like your pet, which are on your side. So the thing I really like about this game is exploration. The game will reward you for the simple fact you are going to the places you haven't seen yet. So as you can see, right now we are in the place where the map and the things are very sharp, very visible, very clear. But if you look around here, this is like very lazy drawing. Basically, what does that mean? We haven't been there yet, and once we will get near there or move inside of that place, we will uncover a little bit of the map, and we will get a little bit of the experience. We will see some stuff there that wasn't visible. So for example, this point of interest wouldn't be visible if we haven't uncovered this place. So I think less talking, more playing. So when we get close to the heart, we don't have to speak with the person. It unlocks the possibility of helping anyway. And now we got to help the dogs. And for example, there are some spiders around in this pen. We don't like spiders in here. This is place for the doggos, not for the spiders. So we need to get rid of those. And another cool thing about this game, the surroundings are dynamic. So if I will be here in the different time, the pen might be full of dogs, there won't be those spider cocoons, and there would be other things we have to do. Also, there are things called dynamic events. So those are like quests that appear. Go home, buddy, go. So appear randomly, semi-randomly around the world, and we could participate in them if other players which are around will join us. The event will get a little bit harder, but the reward will be higher. So this game rewards cooperation very much. I really like many things they've done around. So it seems that we have dealt with the spiders, so the other thing we can do is to play with the puppies. So here are little doggies, they are moving back to the pen. Once they stop, they get to, we could play with them, and they love it, they are happy, and our progress is filled up. So let's visit the vendor. Should be over here. He should be over here. I could ask him how can I help, but as I said, I'm not really invested in the story over here. It's not the most ambitious stuff written. It isn't bothering me, but I'm not a huge fan. So now we can buy this jar of ooze. It isn't particularly more powerful than our emblem, but I buy it anyway. There was a little pop-up warning that once I buy this will become soul-bound, so if I speak with this guy, actually I cannot sell it. There are other stuff to do with those things, but I'll show them later. So over here, this heart has this little glowing around it. This is the place we should go. The game recommends us, but there is nothing that will stop us go somewhere else. And I believe at the beginning of the game you have to collect your stuff manually. I'm not sure is it the menu option or some level up reward, but I'm collecting every stuff automatically, which saves me a lot of time. So the thing you can see over here, the orange circle with the shield inside, is a dynamic event I was talking about earlier. This is a quest, cooperative quest I could join. We have to defeat the waves of reason, so waves of the undead, and also defend wardens, so the guys with shields over their head need to stay alive. There would be some waves of enemies and there should be one more, or
Drive them out. Without this camp, the entire forest is in danger.
so there should be some undead around to kill. Complete this quest. Yes, they are over here. Right around. See if there are something over there. Also, by doing this quest is overlapping with this little heart around, so it's usually quick way to complete some tasks. And also you don't need to do all the things listed. You can pick and choose anything you like. There are some sometimes there are some combat oriented, there are sometimes some pick and deliver quests and so on, so it's up to you how you will deal with it. There should be one more wave of undead to defeat, so you can see something over here.
Drive them out. Without this camp, the entire forest is in danger.
Maybe they are up in here, but I doubt it. Where are you? So as you can see, I've completed this heart. This quest is still in progress, and the cool thing about this is the simple fact that we have participated
We fight against nightmares here.
counts. This is the same thing as we have, so I don't need another one.
Drive them out. Without this camp, the entire
So the simple fact that we have participated in this quest makes us applicable for the rewards. So now we could equip this short bow, but since I'm not planning on using this anyway, I won't be using it right now. I can show you that there is a very different set of abilities. So for example, this crossfire is bleeding, so applies bleeding, and the attacks are stronger from behind of the enemy. There is poison volley, so it shoots 5 arrows spread in the arc, and this will poison enemies. And also there is this quick shot, which lets us jump back, but I'll focus on this and I'll try to find sword or axe, warhorn, and maybe long sword. So now they are recommending us to go over here. So help Ilian clean the spider cave. So we will go to this cave and probably kill some spiders. So there are different things we could do. So for example, we could tear down the spider webs, and if we do so, there will be some spider hatchlings that will show up. There are also these red caps, and they make us real small. And it let us to go inside the holes, yeah, crawl inside the holes and scare away the spiders so we could kill them. So turning small is one of the many unconventional cool things that the game makes you do just because. So we've unlocked another ability. It let us shoot an arrow and turn invisible, so it's quite useful if we will be planning to focus on ranged combat, but it won't be the case. So even if we are playing ranger, it isn't said that we will be the ranged character or some DPS or support or etc. Most of the cases is you could the weapon you are choosing lets you change your traditional specialization. So if you want to be an elementalist, so basically mage, but you prefer to be more support character, there probably is a way for you to achieve this. So as you can see, we are once again in this orange circle with some swords. This is a quest that lets us destroy these webs and free some Sylvari trapped in it. And this is the cooperative effort. So now we've done it, every participant gets some reward, and we've unlocked the second stage of this dynamic quest. There is big ugly spider queen we've got to kill. Since this is the very beginning of the game, those quests are easy and it was easy to miss. Other cool thing, there is a dead player around here, so we could come here and revive them. They probably just went away from the keyboard, so they haven't seen those spiders slowly killing them. In the beginning stages of the game, this is mostly the case. Someone just isn't playing. It's quite hard to get killed. Other way to die is to fall from the height. So let's see what they've got for us. Let's give them some red caps we've collected. So they've got this red cap we will buy. They also have some gauntlets, and there are 3 types of armor: heavy, light and medium, and depending on your class you could use one of them. So let me see. So we could equip this thing. Actually we could equip this jar of ooze as well, but the things we've got with us are the same. So we could equip those gauntlets, and the thing I like to do, if you equip something new, the palette of colors would be very basic, so I want to apply some colors matching the rest of our outfit. Also, we could probably sell some stuff, so sell junk, deposits on materials. The things you could often find are some bags or containers, so double clicking them releases some things inside, probably crafting materials, etc. For now on I think, so over here you can see the grayed out skin locked. If I right click on it, I could click unlock skin, and this is in my collection. This is the reason I'm buying those stuff, to unlock some skins, because once you get to your hero panel there is achievements, and there's lots of different kind of achievements, some general collections, etc. Also, if you go to the wardrobe and I, for example, click on this armor, I could change the appearance of this armor by the cost of this transmutation charge. I have some skins unlocked, and I could look cool from the very beginning of the game, but I won't be doing so right now. So for example, if I want my bow could look like this, but I don't want it right now. And also we've got some level up, so we've got some primary attributes, new profession skill, pet panel, and rally. So every profession has its own unique mechanism. For the hunter, it's a pet. I could make it attack my target, unlock its special ability, which will be available later in the game. I could call it to come. I could change its behavior to avoid combat or guard me. I could hide it. And also there are lots and lots of different pets around the game, and if I find some juvenile animals, I could tame them and get them to my side. And this is the thing I was talking about. Each animal has its own attacks, some special buffs, abilities. So for example, the attacks of this pet would be bite, so it's simple damage dealing ability. Maul, which slash a foe multiple times and make them bleed. And spiritual reprieve, restore health to your allies and grant them reprieve from conditions. This is supportive kind of animal, so it makes my vitality and healing abilities a little bit more potent, and it has special attack of slash, which makes enemies more vulnerable for further attacks. Also, as you can see, we have 4 slots for animals. Later in the game we could swap pets. We could choose from 2 animals on the ground and 2 animals in the water. Not all animals are applicable for water, same goes for the land. So for example, I cannot have shark on the land. The cats are amphibious, so I can have this stalker both in water and on the land. And also we could name our cat. So I'm not sure what the name should we give to her or him. So if you got any ideas and you'll watch it later in the future, let me know. From now on, let's go further. So basically the good idea is to stick to the roads because sometimes the maps are multi-layered and it's easier to get lost if you improvise, but this is adventure after all. So I want to get, I believe, up there. So let me move around. I've been in this place quite some time, but even so I don't know it by my heart. So as you can see, here is a road, and if we would stick to it, it would be quite easy to get here. So this place is supposed to teach you to roll and dodge, because if I get here, I will get stunned. So if I roll, I am immune for the time I am rolling. There is a little bit reward for me. I got some boots. Let's see if they are better than mine. And they are. And let me check real quick if the colors are right. Yes, they are. So rolling uses your endurance, so you can do 2 rolls in the row, but after that you have to wait until your stamina or endurance goes up to at least this point. Most of characters has only 2 bars of stamina, but there are some exceptions to that. So now there are 2 quite interesting things, actually 3. The one thing is later in the game DLC stuff, so the glider. So you have seen this mount. This is from the Path of Fire expansion, and to get it you actually have to buy an expansion and do some quests over there. And there are some different other kinds of pets, but I haven't unlocked them yet. And the thing you could unlock in the Heart of Thorns is gliding. This is quite cool. So you can glide around. There are some skills you could unlock to get some height during it, or glide for the longer periods, etc. The other thing I wanted to show you are those places. Those are teleport waypoints, and if you get near them you will unlock them, and they basically let you move around. So those are teleportation stones. So now I've got this unlocked, and if I wanted to, I don't need to be near this waypoint to use it, but I want to, I can click it and go there for very little fee of 7 copper coins. But I won't do this right now. Yeah, so the next thing is hero points. So anytime you see some place like this, it lets you get some hero points, hero skill points. Those are for use later in the game, but whenever you see one, just grab it. There are different kinds of hero points. There are sometimes challenges, sometimes it's as easy as pick up something and eat this, and once you get this hero point, the icon will change to this filled up instead of outline. So the last thing around here I wanted to show you are jumping puzzles. I really like them. They are sometimes real hidden. This one is quite obvious. You see this staircase, and this is obvious. You need to get higher and higher. It might take me a few attempts to get through them, but basically this is the challenge, dexterity challenge, to get somewhere difficult. And I've shown you earlier that I have both mount and my glider, and in some cases of jumping puzzles it would be so much easier to complete them with use of such things. This is why in some places around the world the gliding and mounts are disabled, so I cannot use them right here because it would be a cheating. There are some ways to work this around, but usually these places are cheat proof. So one thing about jumping puzzles is that sometimes they are tricky to complete because of the camera work. I could change my settings, but I find it easier to use it like this. Sometimes it's hard to decide where should I jump. Maybe this is the place, maybe over here, but this is why those spaces are challenging. Also, they sometimes require you very precise skills. And one thing I found tricky about jumping puzzles, I like to make small safe steps during them, but my settings are that if I double click some direction, so for example double forward, I will roll. And sometimes when I do small steps, I do them too quickly and I will roll and I will fail. So this is one thing to consider. This is why I do short steps and wait a little bit longer than I would normally need. It's going actually pretty well for me, so this is the famous last words. We are almost there. Almost did it. And as you can see, there is a chest, the reward for completing the jumping puzzle, and you could complete the puzzle once a day, I believe. So let me see if I can equip this dagger. Yes, I can. So this dagger is one of, or not, oh, this is only offhand weapon, so I won't be using it since I will be using this warhorn. We found also some copper doubloons and we could send them away. And this place is also full of spiders, so there are some jungle spider hatchlings. There is one guy which tells us about this place a little bit. So this is the spiders sanctuary. There is some stuff with the nightmare court we will learn about later. But the thing we are looking for are juvenile jungle spiders. So if I go here, there is an option for me to charm them. And I have tamed a juvenile jungle spider. I don't want to equip it right now, but if I click over here, as you can see, we have the option to use the spider as our animal. And also if I click F4, so this is my shortcut for changing pets, I could swap them. So for example, they have quite similar stats, but there are some differences. The spider will spit, it will create a web which immobilize the enemies, so this is probably quite useful for the ranged character to keep away from the enemies. They will create poison gas, and also will make some prelude lash, so will pull the enemies. And this is the versatile companion, so it will increase my vitality and concentration instead of vitality and healing. So let's walk around with our little Spidey. So over here there is another little jumping puzzle, and it leads us to the cave over here. But as you can see, the level of the enemies is a little bit higher than mine, and I will probably die over there. I could get rid of those enemies, but or not. So this was just clumsy me trying to explain some things. This place is quite easy to run away. So once I am dead, I could just lay here and wait for the other players to walk towards me and revive me, or open the map and go to any waypoint I've got unlocked. And I believe this also may damage some of my equipment, so from time to time you will need to repair stuff. So let us complete this heart over here. So there is an escort mission. So basically we've got to make sure this guy lives and kill all the enemies around. This game is quite forgiving, so for example, if we let this guy die, we could revive him or her. I'm not sure. She's so small I cannot really see. So this is, for example, other player. One thing I want to do is to represent my guild. This guild has, I believe, 2 members, me and my friend, and we haven't achieved anything yet. There is other guild I am a member of. They've got their home, etc., but I want to experience many stuff by myself. As I said, I'm not really a multiplayer person. So we've completed the quest. By doing so we've got near the other heart, but actually I want to get back to the previous place. And finish quest. So, since this is massive multiplayer game, sometimes the things around get a little bit chaotic. Especially where there are lots of enemies and lots of players. So you've got to learn to ignore it or not be distracted by it.
Something had to be driving the front end. I intend to find out what.
So there were some NPCs that, and this completed our task over here. We also get the level up, so we could use our secondary weapon slot. This is the thing I was waiting for, but before I do this, there is a little bit of a problem around, and I would like to help to kill it. Okay, so let's go somewhere safer. And now, if you go to the equipment, we've got our secondary slot unlocked. Some weapons requires you to use both hands, and some are one-handed. This is great sword, not the long sword. This is the sword. So if I equip the sword only, you can see I've got only 3 abilities, and here there is a blank space. This is because I'm not using my second hand, and I can equip some things as my secondary weapons, and I want this horn over here. I believe I won't be keeping other stuff just yet. So by changing the weapon, I'm changing my fighting style very much. So for example, as my primary attack, I've got this slash ability, and this is the chain attack. It works like that. Once I perform my first attack, we go to the second tab and perform the second attack and the third attack. So the outcome changes depending on which attack in the chain we are using. So the first attack will deal some damage, the second will cripple our enemy, and the third will give me a might, so increase the next damage. Our next attack is Monarch's Leap, so it lets me get real quick to my enemies, and this is useful because the base attack of the sword is not very range heavy. It requires me to get close to my enemies. And also, after Monarch leaps, I can make the Serpent Strike in the next 5 seconds to roll around the target and poison it. Here is Hornet Sting, lets me stab my foe and jump away, so the thing to get away from my enemy, it gets me the evade, so for half a second I am immune to any damage. And also, if I hit with this attack, it recharges my Monarch's Leap, so normally I'll have to wait for I believe 8 seconds to use my Monarch's Leap again, but if I use my Hornet Sting, it's immediately refreshed. And the last thing from my horn is Hunter's Call. I target a foe and it's get attacked by Hawk 16 times, and it gets some vulnerability. You really don't need to read those descriptions to play for the long period, but once you try to make some builds, it's quite useful to know what to do. So there are some weapons I cannot use, so Hunter will never use a hammer. Some classes can use wide variety of weapons, some are very restricted by have other upsides. So actually those boots are better than mine, but they are uglier. Oh well. Oh, yeah. This is why. So I will sell this and this. I don't need the bow. Don't need the hammer. Okay. And let's go back to our equipment. Let's get some dice. Okay, I'll stick with this color pattern, but I really don't like those boots. No, they are ugly. And let's go to the next place. So if you so this is the place we will be heading. As you can see, there are some unclear spaces, and yeah, that's it for now. Enough rambling. So the mount I'm using is not leveled up, so the basic ability of it is quite fast and it can perform long jumps. So it let me to get sometimes to the places I wouldn't be able in the other way. And also it lets me do this tail sweep attack once I'm getting off of it. Let me change to the cat. I prefer it to the spider. Let's help this poor fella. If you are outside the combat, you are healing quite quickly. Oh. He lived a long life. Oh, and I get to I'm not using bow right now, so it might take a while. Let us unlock this place, and we've got to assist Valiant Kaliev with the reason. So we need to burn corpses, smash noxious plants, protect wardens, and battle reason in the Saliva's Inlet. Nice name. So, here we can see another new thing. Those are the vistas. Vistas are for map completion only. Those are places you could have quite a nice view. Usually they have some jumping puzzle, or it's hard to get to them, or you've got to think a little bit. This one isn't quite as hard. I could try to glide there, but let's pretend I don't have a glider. So I need to walk around here. Those are nice mushrooms, the nice cage, and if we walk around this place, we are here, and once you get to the vista, you can watch a real nice view. They usually shows you some places of interests, or they are just nice to look at. So let us help with this reason problem. So for example, we could smash this noxious plant, but by doing so we are poisoned, so we get some damage over time. We burn some corpses. Let's help this warden over here. I believe there is some hidden place around here, but I really don't remember. There is a lot to explore in this game. You could run through the main quest and ignore stuff. Actually, you cannot run in the main quest because it's in the parts at every 10 levels. Let's help this player. So let me show you this Viper Strike. It looks cool. So the Guild Wars 2 isn't the newest game, so the graphics aren't great, and they are quite uneven. I would say the Ventari's region is quite nice to look at. I cannot say the same about, for example, Kryta, so the human starting point. There are some ugly places, unrealistic forests, etc. I really don't like. And later on in the expansions, which came out a little bit later, the surroundings are quite stunning.
Thank the gods you were here.
So we've completed quest around here, and let us go to the vendor. Let's see what we can have here. So the longbow we won't be using, verdant charm. I think I've got this skin unlocked, but I'm not sure. And let us sell some junk and other stuff, deposit all the materials. Those swords are weaker than our own. There is also this button for the compact. If you wonder what this one is instant level boost to level 80. So for some people level 80 is actually when the real game starts. So if you want to try some builds, don't waste your time on playing through the quest. You have an option. I really don't like to miss out things, so I will enjoy my time. The other way you can use your mounts is to absorb your falling damage, so actually there is a little bit of exploit or cheesing. You could fall from any height you want and you wouldn't die if you are mounted. Let us hope this. As you can see, there is once again this escort mission with this Azura guy. Now, here will be some quest that requires us to speak with this guy. And so we could get inside the Nightmare's court and sabotage they're doing.
My new invention will revolutionize the industry.
So we've got teleported, moved to the otherwise closed area. This is Nightmare's court headquarters. And we will do some stuff to make some mess around. So we could deal with the guys. Obviously we are here to lower their morale. We could clear this torn paths and set them free or comfort them. So the evil guys are doing bad stuff. So this is the level of plot you can see here. There is some plot twists, betrayals, but I believe nothing shocking. So sometimes you've got to be careful not to miss some special places once you are doing some side quest, because you wouldn't be otherwise able to get there. So there is this hero challenge, and I believe this would be fight. And sometimes, as I said earlier, the challenge would be fighting some very powerful bosses. Not quite yet powerful, but
Yes, he's gone. We didn't have a chance.
stay strong.
Silvari, do this.
They're not Silvari anymore. They've become Silvari.
Let's hope some doggos. Yeah, good boy. And we're done. Let's go out. Let's speak with the spy.
We live in dangerous times.
So we might buy some leggings and let's do this. I buy it just in case. And of course we will need to dye our pants. Yeah, let's go with this Harvest Colts. Seems like a often name. So now they recommend us to go and speak with the scout. The scouts are the people who show us new regions and uncover the hearts. So I could use this waypoints, but sometimes I just enjoy riding around. I think I'll need a little break in a minute, so let us just go nearby this scout. And I think we'll end the recording here. So let me stop recording and thank you for watching. I think I'll be here in a minute, but for now, bye.